Hello, and welcome. Today we're going to design a 3D dog tag using Fusion 360. I've got a new document going on right now, so this is the way it looks when you first open up either a new document or Fusion 360. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here at the top right corner. I've got my different orientations, so I can just hit the top. And so that way I'm completely flat, looking above the surface. So first we're going to start with our two circles. So I'm going to hit sketch over here, circle, and I'm going to choose the very first one, center diameter circle. And then when you start a new sketch, basically the first thing it wants you to do, and it's going to say it on the screen right here, if you stop moving the mouse, select a plane. So basically Fusion 360 wants to know on which surface you want to draw. Well, right now there's nothing, so obviously you're going to be drawing on the plane. So I'm just going to hit this square right here, and now I am ready to actually choose a position to actually start my circle. So I'm going to zoom in first of all, and I'm going to click right here. And our first circle is 25 in diameter, so I'm just going to hit on the keyboard 25, enter. So I've got my first circle, and I can click anywhere to just stop moving around. So here I have my basic shape. I'm going to basically align another circle just anywhere really for now, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put 25. I'm going to type that on the keyboard, enter, and I'm just going to click somewhere to stop it. Now obviously those two circles are too close to each other, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dimension a space between the two centers. So to do that, you can either hit the D key, or you can go into sketch and hit dimension, which is sketch dimension. I'm gonna hit right here, and then right here, and then I can actually give it a space in between. So if you look at your technical sheet, you will see that the space in between is 45, so I'm gonna put 4, 5. Oops, there you go, 4, 5, enter, and now it actually spaced my two circles appropriately for the dog tag. This right here is not a line. This is just like telling us that the distance between here and here is 45. So don't think that this is actually a line and it should not be there. It's not a line. But I need a line now, so I'm gonna go back to sketch and I'm gonna hit line. And I want to draw a line from here to here, but if I hover around, you can see, you're going to feel here that it's not snapping to anything. So in order to snap, you have to kind of like start from the middle right here and then just go up, and then you're going to feel that it snaps now. It, like, Fusion 360 knows what we want to do. So I'm going to click here and zoom out a little bit so I can reach the other side, and see here, I mean, it just snaps. I feel it with my mouse. So I'm just gonna click again, and here we go. We have a line that is perfectly, from the middle to the other middle of the circle. Same thing at the bottom. At the bottom, I just Fusion 360 knows. See, I just come down and it just snaps. So hit a click, another click right here, and then there we have it. We have our basic shape for our dog tag. So obviously this is just 2D, so what we want to do now is create a 3D shape by giving it some volume. So to do that, we're going to click create. There's a little shortcut here, extrude, but if you want, you can click create and drop down to extrude, and that's going to basically well, it wants you to select. So I can select this, but that's not the only part I want to extrude. So I'm going to select two more. There you have it. That's the full dog tag you want to extrude. We want to extrude that by 4 millimeters, and again, that's what your technical drawing is showing. And there you have it. So if I rotate just a little bit, I can see there's a thickness now to our shape. We're ready to move on to our next step. So I moved just so I can see the thickness, and the best way to come back to a top view is just to hit the top button right here at the top right corner. So there I have it. So basically what we want to do is draw the exact same shape, just a little bit smaller, so that we can create a hole, a recess hole into this first part. So I'm going to sketch, and I want to do circle again, same thing as we did before. And like I told you at the beginning, it wants you to select a plane or a surface. So now we want to draw on top here. We don't want to draw on the plane. We want to draw on the surface. So I'm going to click anywhere here. Click. And now I'm going to be drawing on top of this surface. So zooming in is always helpful, because then you can see better what you're doing. Don't be afraid to zoom in. So we already have our middle here, so we're going to start from the same middle, but instead of doing 25 millimeters in diameter, we're going to go 22. So I'm just going to enter down the keyboard, hit enter, and as before, it wants you to lock it in by just clicking somewhere, and so we did it. We can move to the right side for another circle, and basically it's easy to align yourself. You see the middle point from before, and again I'm gonna hit 22, enter. I'm gonna click to lock it, and I have my two circles. They are 45 millimeters apart because we set that earlier with the sketch dimension. And so all we have to do is draw again our two lines to complete this shape. If you try to extrude a shape that is not closed, it's not going to work. So sketch line, let's see if it's locked here. Is it locking? No, it's not locking. See, I feel it, I feel it. So I'm going to come hover on the middle. I'm not going to click anything, I'm just hovering, and I'm going to move my mouse up slowly, and see, all of a sudden it knows that I want that middle right there. So I'm gonna click, move over to the other side, and then it just snaps. So it's really easy, because it just kind of helps you, it knows. So another line here, so it snaps right away like before. Move over to the other side, and then there you go, zoom out so we can see the whole thing. So we've got our shape again that has been created for the recess hole. So what we want to do is, again, we want extrude, so we can click on here or create extrude, and it wants us to select first. So we're going to select this, that, and this like we did prior, but obviously, you know, we don't want to go up. See, we could go up here, but we don't want to go up. We want to actually go down. So in here, you can enter -2, and you can see here we're kind of like making a hole. We're extruding, cutting. So once I push enter, there you have it. You have a hole, recess, not a hole right away, but I mean this is 4 millimeters thick, and we just cut 2 millimeters into it, so it's halfway recessed in. So once again, I'm happy with this. I'm gonna hit top so I can get my top view again. We have 2 steps left. We need a hole so that we can put a chain through, and then some text, you know, that for our name or something. So let's do the circle for the hole. So basically, if you hit sketch circle, you won't know exactly where to put the hole. So there's an actual best place for it, but we don't know where it is. So my trick here is to kind of sketch a line so that we know where the middle of that little circle is going to be. So of course, again, I'm creating a new sketch, so it wants to know on which surface or plane I want to draw. I want to draw on the inside here, so I'm going to click anywhere in here. There you go. So we're going to start from the middle, alright, and we're going to go left by 6.21 millimeters. So I just entered that in the keyboard to specify the length of that line, and I'm just going to hit enter. So you can see here I went from the middle, 6.21 millimeters left, and that right here is the center of the circle that we need for a hole. So now all I have to do is hit sketch, circle, center diameter circle, and I'm going to start from that point, click, and that hole, if you look at your technical sheet, is 4 millimeters in diameter. So I'm going to hit 4, enter, and as usual, you can rotate it until you click to mobilize it. So there we go. We have our circle, and that's for the hole. So once again, we need to hit create, or just the shortcut here, extrude. It wants us to select, so we will select it. So see this line here was just a guideline, so it's just there to for the distance purpose. And we want to cut through. We are going to cut through for the remainder 2 millimeters, so -2, enter, and there you go. So if we zoom out here, we can see that we now have a hole that is well placed for the chain. I can rotate it a little bit. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So after I rotate, I want again the top view, so I'm gonna hit top and I'm ready for my text. So I am going to sketch and I'm gonna drop down to text, click, and with any sketch, once again it wants to know on which plane or surface that I want to sketch. So I want this on the inside, so I'm gonna click anywhere on here. There you go. Now it wants to know where I want to put the text. It doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna hit here and then we can move it later if need be. So it wants to know the text. I'm just gonna put GERV, G-E-R-V. I'm putting all caps. It's coming like a upside down. So that's okay because there is an actual angle tab right here. So I want to turn it around 180 degrees, so 180, and there you go, you have it now. It's a little bit small. It's too small. We want to use as much of the space as possible. Well, first of all, I'm just going to bold it. That helps. And then let's see, the height is 10 millimeters. I have room for twice that, so I'm just going to put 20 millimeters. Ooh, that could be too big. So I'm going to come down here with the hand and move it around a little bit, see if it can fit. Oh, it actually fits. Perfect. So I'm going to try to center it as much as possible. Pretty happy with that. Great. Okay. Now obviously if you turn, you're going to see that our text is flat. Well, it's because it's a sketch. It's just a sketch. So I'm just going to go ahead and create an extrusion out of the text, so I can hit the shortcut or create extrude. Once again, it wants us to select, so we are going to select the text, and then of course it wants to know by how much we want to extrude. Well, we want a volume, so we're going to put 2 millimeters, and you can kind of see here what's going on. You know, it's a little not done yet because we haven't okayed that, but that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK, and there you go. And that's it. You have your dog tag. You have the shape, you have your letters, you have the hole for the chain, and that's pretty much it. So once you have that, of course, you save it, and then you're going to save it as an STL because the 3D printers understand STL. So you come to File, and you're going to hit 3D Print. You're going to, it wants you to select, so of course you're going to click on it. There you go, it's selected. Make sure that the refinement is on high. You always want high. And then you're going to uncheck the Send to 3D Print utility. There you go. And now you click OK, and it's going to basically ask you to save it. I'm not going to save it because, well, I already have it. But you save it, and that's something that you can actually send that as an attachment to me. Well, hope that helps. If you have any question, you know what to do, and we will see you later.